destroyed my effing life, give him back. Not only do they have the opportunity, or did he have the opportunity to lust over that in a public court, he also gets my counselling records and my notes. So him and his defence team get to read all them before court. So they know my weaknesses, they know my inner thoughts, my inner fears. He gets to see how he's affected my life, and and I still don't understand why a victim's counselling notes are used, and that's not just in Germany, that's across Europe, that's in the UK as well. It's absolutely horrendous that the help that you seek after something like this happens to rebuild your life going forward is essentially a tool that's used against you to discredit you when you're in a courtroom trying to get justice and keep what I believe to be a monster behind bars. I don't, so court for me was again another life-changing moment, and it was extremely difficult. He was found, ultimately he was acquitted in October 2024 because of lack of evidence as a result of poor investigation by the Portuguese police. So yeah, that has led me to the European Courts of Human Rights.
Hazel, before we go to that, so you were able to identify him through his eyes.
Yes.
When you saw those eyes again in that courtroom, were you 100% certain again they are the eyes? I mean, he's got a very distinct look about him.
He does, and again, I don't expect for people to understand how I can say that, but I know if you can just imagine, and I know it's very, very difficult for people to do, but when all you can see of this person who is inflicting such horrendous crimes and hurt and pain on you, there's something about this thing, this one thing that you can see, forget the eyes for a minute, but this one thing that you can see of this person that will forever be imprinted on who you are. It will be a forever memory. It'll be something that you cannot unsee. It'll be something that you can never forget. So when you see them again, or see that thing, whatever that thing is for you again, wholeheartedly, with confidence, 100%, that this is what I saw. It's there, and that's all I could see of him were his eyes. So yeah, I am extremely confident in my belief that this is the person that committed the crimes against me. I'm extremely confident in the German investigation. I'm confident in the information that has come out since, of the person that he is, of the crimes that he has committed and has been convicted of, and the similarities between them and what he has done to me, his pattern. All these things confirmed what I know, that I know is him. I know that it's him. So I've had this question asked of me, and privately, and with friends or with family of lately, like, and is my life any better knowing that it's him or not? And truthfully, at the minute, I don't know, because if he gets out and I've done all this to try, I don't know. Yeah.
You said that he was drawing and ignoring the process. Was there ever a point where he locked eyes with you? And did you get any kind of feeling from him?
Oh, he locked eyes. We did at one stage. During near the end of my 2 days there, I didn't want to look at him at all. Like, I didn't want to at all, really. And I consciously made an effort not to make eye contact with him. But we did at one stage. It wasn't like the stare off, at all. But it did happen. But he, as I said, he doesn't have to speak. He doesn't have to partake in anything. He doesn't have to say anything. So from what I could see, he was sat drawing, or, and that seems to be what he did throughout the trial, the whole trial process over the months that he was there. So yeah, he's brought into the room in like ankle chains and hand chain things, and he sat with his team of pretty high class lawyers, as they call them in Germany. And yeah, that's that he just sat in the kind of in their bosom for the time that he was there, like, you know.
So how disappointing then was the acquittal? Did you have high hopes at that point, but they were crushed?
I don't know if I had high hopes. I don't know if hope would even would be something that I had. I think I was very aware that it could go one of two ways. Like, I'm not that naive to think that it was a sure thing. I had and I still have huge confidence, as I said, in the investigation that was carried out. What you have to understand is this is a completely different jurisdiction from a completely different country. Dealing with a crime that happened is a historical case, like, that wasn't investigated, that was very, very poorly investigated at the time. So, you know, they really have done amazing things off the back of what I believe to be very inept and poor work, like, you know? So, um, so yeah, I knew it could go one or two ways, and the fact that he was found, you know, he was acquitted as a result of very poor investigation infuriates me.
Yeah.
Um, like, I don't believe he's innocent. I believe that guilty people are found or acquitted on technicalities and lack of evidence and all these different things for lots of different crimes all of the time. Um, I don't feel that this is, again, just a personal opinion. I don't feel that all of the information and all of the evidence that was to hand was taken into account. In fact, I know that it wasn't now, and I find that very unfair. Um, and again, I'm not here to kind of play a violin and look for sympathy. Like, I just want fairness. Like, do you know, I just want, yeah, I want the justice system anywhere to do their job, um, and to uphold the law and to take everything into account, because that, to me, is what their job is, you know. And while it would have been horrendous for him to get a not guilty based on concrete evidence, I'd have to hold my hands up and say he's not guilty. Then that's, you know, and have something tangible to believe in and to understand why they came to that conclusion. But at this moment, I don't understand how that conclusion was met, given the evidence that was to hand. Um, yeah, I don't know.
How do you feel about the prospect of him possibly getting released as early as September this year?
He is due for release in September the 18th, I think it is. I mean, that's very scary. I you know, it's something that I didn't realize was kind of sitting in the back of my head, as much, until very recently. And I suppose as the months clock by and you're coming into summertime now, and then all of a sudden the kids will be starting back in school and it'll be September and he's due to get out. I think, aside from me, and if I take myself out of this for a moment, I think it would be a huge injustice on society in general if a person like him was walking the streets freely. Um, well, you have to understand from what we have, you know, what I have seen and what, you know, has been proven of him, is that he has lived very, you know, discreetly but in plain sight for many, many years. He has had many warrants for arrests and crimes, absconding, all these different things. But he managed to live in plain sight, like, but off grid, or, you know, camouflage into the background, or, you know, and do that under the eye of different jurisdictions and different countries for so many years. So this is somebody, like, he's not stupid. Like, he knows exactly what he's doing. He knows the game he's playing. He knows what you know, what he's about. He clearly is a clever person, like, you know. Um, and my worry would be that he would do that again. Essentially, that he would. And I know people will say, "Oh, well, everybody knows his face. Everybody." Sorry, there's ways and means around that, and he has proven that so many times. So I don't take that as comfort, you know? I don't take people knowing who he is as comfort at all. No, so I am very scared for people and naturally for myself, if he gets set free, like.
Yeah, I'm flabbergasted with the amount of crimes that he's done,
Mm,
and his ability to play the system is part of it as well.
yeah,
The lack of punishment he's actually suffered, and now he's about to get released. It's absolutely disgusting.
yeah.
So I know you've got to go in 7 minutes, and you've had a few questions come in.
Okay, yeah.
Do you have time to answer the few
Yeah, yeah,
questions?
absolutely, no problem.
And you've told your story brilliantly, and we really appreciate that. It's yeah, we've been gripped and harrowed, and have really felt what you've been through. All right, so here's a question from Rosie. Hazel, do you feel he's being protected by the authorities or someone higher?
I think that's a really good question, Rosie. And yeah, obviously, it's something that I have thought about. I don't know about the authorities. Not that I don't know. I don't think the authorities in Germany certainly aren't protecting Christian Bruckner in any way. But I wouldn't be surprised if somebody came to me with proof that he was being protected in Portugal. And I certainly wouldn't be surprised if something came out that he was connected to some sort of a group or, you know, organization of some sorts. That wouldn't surprise me. But as far as knowing, I don't know, and I wouldn't have a concrete answer for that. But it certainly wouldn't surprise me.
Well, an indication of that, perhaps, is you said that he had a bunch of high-priced lawyers.
Yeah,
Because they gave the impression in the documentary he didn't have money, he had to survive by dealing substances. But then they said he owned that factory, and then you're thinking perhaps he must have money to own the factory.
as far as
So
I know, from what I gather, again, this is just from the likes of the documentary and stuff. I'm not. He had committed a robbery. He robbed £100,000 or euros. I'm not sure, but that what financed, we'll say, a lot of them purchases, from what I know. But insofar as his legal team, I don't know how they're being paid for. I don't know. Yeah.
definitely raises a red flag and a big question.
Yeah, I don't. I have no knowledge on how or who or what way his team of pretty high end lawyers are being paid for. I have no clue.
So Blanksy wants to know if Christian B gets released, will you request protection?
Well, I can't be protected here in Ireland anyway. They've no jurisdiction and the case is not being heard here. So unless somebody crosses the boundary of my garden gate, no, I can't, unfortunately.
Would they keep you informed if he was traveling in your direction?
I don't think they have to. I don't know. It's the truth, Shaun. I don't know.
Cassandra is wondering whether you could estimate, how many victims he possibly has.
I don't. I like it would be I wouldn't even have a guess, like, Cassandra, sorry. Do you know more? I think I think there's an awful lot more there than we know of now. Um, as he is a person who kind of hid himself even when he was, in situations like what happened to me. Um, and a lot of the time, from what we can gather, his motives were around children too. So, a lot of children grow into adults who have suppressed memories of maybe what had happened to them as a younger person, and things might come out in time. You don't know, by stories like my own being shared, it might encourage others who may feel that they have uh, been a victim of a crime similar from a similar person to come forward. That would, I hope that would happen for them, not even to have another strike against him. It would be for them to be able to hopefully get the help that they need and deserve as a result of what had happened to them. Yeah.
Yeah, Cassandra. So we had John Clark on, and his book documents a lot of Christian B's crimes.
Yeah.
So perhaps check that out. That podcast we did yesterday, it's actually in the playlist, the Madeleine McCann playlist, and the links in the description box. And Harry is wondering where is he locked up right now? And you've also, and in the documentary they said basically the police in Germany feel they've got some evidence towards keeping him locked up by charging him with Madeleine McCann, but they're trying to get even more evidence before September, so they can't tell us what they've got. What do you think about that?
I know very little about Madeleine's case. I'm being genuinely honest on that. I probably know less than you do, to be quite fair, Shaun. I think, look, I personally have huge faith in the BKA and in the investigation that was carried out on my case anyway. So I would, really believe that the Germans are in a position where they have enough evidence to know what he did, to publicly announce that they feel that he unalived her. Is that what you're supposed to say on this? Sorry.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But I think because of the high profileness of the case, that they want everything, that they just don't, they need, I suppose, is my guess, is a silver bullet. And I suppose that's either a body or DNA proof. I don't know if they have that. I don't know anything that they do have. But my idea would be that, this appears to be a person who likes to film and document his conquests as such. And maybe they have, some sort of photographic or video or, written evidence, because he clearly likes to keep momentous and things to look back on, because, why else film yourself doing that? Like why else do that and write the stories, the horrendous stories that you do, and document things in his books that he writes of his own. So yeah, my guess is that whatever evidence they do have is quite clear and believable as such, but they're obviously looking for something more. Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
A few people asked what happened to your friend Shaun during that time.
Shaun, funny story. Like, Shaun was and still is a wonderful friend of my world. He's like a brother to me. I love him. But that night in particular, Shaun had, on the very rare occasion, as I said, he had one too many drinks that night, came home and left his door open. He forgot to close the door. That is as simple as it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we know you've got an appointment to go to, Hazel, so we're going to let you go.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to say in conclusion?
I suppose thank you firstly, Shaun, and to everyone else for having me on here. It's been really nice getting to speak to you as well, and hopefully for me, look, I don't mean to sound real corny and modeling and all this, but I don't know where or what I'm doing at the moment insofar as going forward, but I do know that I feel the right thing to do is to speak up and hopefully encourage other women and victims, male as well, of any form of sexual or gender-based violence, to seek the help that they need. Because I didn't do that for a long time, and I suppose that's one of the regrets I have. I want to try for myself to get something positive out of this horrendous situation. And I don't say that to be a good person. The selfish motive in it too. I'm doing it to make myself feel good as well. But in the process, I hope that it helps other people. So, if this podcast even helps one person who is struggling with, maybe going and reporting a crime, or even going just to sit down and speak to somebody to get some help, well, then that's my job done. I feel I can't change what happened to me. There is no going back. There's no rewind. There's nothing I can do differently, but I can hopefully make a bit of a difference in something going forward. And it's partaken in wonderful shows like this that allow for me to kind of hopefully make a bit of a difference in somebody else's life. Because truthfully, I never want somebody else to be in the dark places that I have been in over the last number of years. And I feel that the more people who use the platform that they have to be able to speak out and make our talk less taboo, that it's not muted or cut off on the likes of YouTube and social media, that you can say the RAPE word and not get banned. You know, that it is something that unfortunately happens and will happen, but that people out there who are victims of crimes like this don't feel that they're on their own, firstly, and secondly, seek the help that they need. So that's really why I'm doing that.
Well said, and we salute your bravery. And if there's anything we can ever do for you, you just let us know. So much love from over here, from me and my viewers. Everyone's so supportive, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks, Hazel.
You too. Take care, everybody. Thank you.
All right. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Wow, what a phenomenal guest, folks. Absolutely mind blown right now. What an emotional journey we've just gone through, and Hazel just described everything so well, you know, and it must have been so traumatic for her to do so, to revisit those scenes. But God, it really hit me in the guts. Some of the things she talked about, she said she lost her nails during this torture. Just the way he's there in the room, saying her voice. I mean, can you imagine you go to bed one night and someone's just in the corner of your room dressed in black saying your voice? Unbelievable, isn't it? Just wow. I can't imagine the amount of horror, the mortification, the adrenaline spike. Anyway, we've got David Icke premiering right now. It's just started on Madeleine McCann, Princess Diana, and Jimmy Savile and the royal family. So I'm going to end the stream and it will take you over to that one.